Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're still reviewing the papers, and in Vanguard we have
NEC OK's new textile board, a 90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan, $90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan. So NEC, chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, yesterday approved the establishment of a cotton, textile and garment development board alongside new strategies for agribusiness expansion, livestock transformation, projected to generate up to 90 billion in the economy value by 2035. And I'm so positive about it. I met a cotton farmer. This woman only had go and sit somewhere in the southwest farming cotton. I thought that business had died in Nigeria. And so I'm positive that if we can do that, we'll get back this our fabrics that we're looking at. But this approval is, of course, as they said, to reposition our economy and to position us, to tap into that market. They also looked at other areas of the business, of the agribusiness, and there's a regulatory body for cotton, textile and garment sector of Nigeria. This board will have, a lot of work to do. They have representatives of the governors from the 6 geopolitical zones in the meeting yesterday. Ministers of Agriculture, Food and Security, Budget and Economic Planning were all there. They set up this board and will be domiciled in the presidency, private sector driven, and it will have with representation in the relevant public sector and stakeholders, funded from the textile import levy being collected by the Nigerian Customs.
I like the structure of the funding from import levy.
Yes, from import levy,
because to support local
that's
production.
what is suffering. Yeah. That's what is the evil that is harming us right now economically. Our fabrics, our even indigenous fabrics are being imported.
Yes.
So with this positioning, let there be deliberate.
Poland, Indonesia,
let it not be
India.
as I read it today, finish today, the excitement. Let the excitement come with, actualization.
Before I come to you, Abigail, let me take the story about the Pope's burial. They've confirmed that they'll be having 130 foreign delegations, including 50 heads of state, as well as 10 monarchs that will be attending the Pope's funeral. I'll say that they've had 61,000 monarchs pay respect. The queue is long. They said there's a long wait period before people are able to pay their respect, but still, what they're expecting that the burial is going to be a really grand one, obviously with the number of dignitaries that are coming. There's a lot of backlash concerning the Pope, good and bad, but at the end of the day, he's an institution, or he represents an institution, and so all the respect that goes to the institution will go to him concerning the burial. So, Abigail.
Oh, yeah, so presently, the World Bank has said more Nigerians will become poor by 2027. I know a lot of persons will be saying, God forbid.
God forbid.
But the Bible said you always have the poor among you. So just try to work not to be one of them. So we see that world over, Nigerians contribute to 15% of the poverty index of the world. So if you're talking about the poor states in the world, Nigeria is contributing like 15%. And Sub-Saharan Africa is contributing like 80% of the poor. So the World Bank has said that our total reliance on resource-rich components will not let us see progress, economic progress. And even though the last quarter of 2024 we saw notable increase and growth in economy, that in 5 years' time we are not going to be, there will be a lot of poor people in Nigeria. That's what they said. According to them, they said the report indicates that poverty rates in resource-rich fragile countries, including Nigeria, are expected to increase by 3.6. Presently, according to reports, 106 million Nigerians are really, really poor. And it means that 13 million more Nigerians are going to join this index. And we know that as it is in Nigeria, there's no middle class anymore. It's either you're rich or you're poor. So in 2027, they're saying you should brace up. Well, whose report will you believe?
I will believe the report of the Lord. You know the sisters of the Lord. Yeah.
I actually wish that when we get reports like this, we will try to do something about it.
I think there's a lot being done. A lot usually, because even I think I was going to take a story from the Minister for the coordinating minister for economy, they are aware, and we shouldn't expect that they're not aware and they're not doing anything about it, because for it to make it to papers, it means that our leaders are aware of what is going on and they know that this is the metrics. They should use the data to work. Let's move on to our final paper for today. Nigerian Tribune, major headline: 2027 won't be decided by the number of governors. That's from PDP. They are shrugging off the fact that the Delta and the mass defection that has taken place. Rivers, again, Ibas absent at the reps panel. Gunmen abduct 14 passengers in Benue. Q1 2025. UBA profit rises by 30.65% to 204 billion naira. Despite worsening insecurity, NEC again defers talk on state policing. And Sanwo-Olu comes up with the fact that Lagos is investors' delight while he was speaking at Harvard. Alleged $1 billion scam. The court permits EFCC to arrest, detain 6 over CBEX. Military killed 1,770 terrorists and arrested 3,073 in 3 years across the northwestern states. Labour Party crisis. Again, Abure calls out OT-OB for misinterpreting Supreme Court judgment. So, what are we doing?
Let me do Lagos. So, the governor of Lagos was blowing his trumpet himself at his horns at Harvard
they said
Business School. So he was a guest of the Professor Akim Bello Sage. I didn't know Akim Bello Sage, the foremost investment banker, is lecturing at Harvard. You know, so he was his guest, and in his class he was talking about Lagos, and he blew away well, say, with a GDP of 259 billion, a population of 25 million, 4 seaports, friendly government policies. Lagos is an investor's delight. So he went on and on talking about the blue rail, the red rail. He talked about the seaports. He talked about the schools, the hospitals. He says every investor here,
Lagos is
Abundance
working.
Day. Lagos is working. And he says that because of their friendly policies, and then he went on to talk about the tourism potential of Lagos, all that happened last year, towards the end of the year. He blew the trumpet.
He has evidence.
He's the brand ambassador.
And the class at the end of the day, they applauded because he couldn't have.
Where's the lie? There's no lie there.
Who has the story of what military is doing or government? Okay, the government.
Okay, government adopt 14 passengers in Benue. No fewer than 14 passengers were reported to have been kidnapped along Makurdi Naka Doka Road. That area of Benue State. This happened on Thursday, that's yesterday. Oh. And a commercial driver who pleaded anonymity said this happened between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. And passengers were kidnapped and taken into the forest. And they say vehicles, like they were going for picnic, according to the conversation. There's a bus load of 14 passengers and another one, and they kidnapped 12 passengers. And that reminds me of when one of my riders, he came back, he's from Kogi. He just told me that there's a certain place in Idoma that you can't ply that road from 6 p.m. because if you ply that road between 6 and 10, you'll be kidnapped. And as a matter of fact, like 3 buses were kidnapped until now. Yeah, with the driver shot. So sad. This insecurity matter, it's a lot.
Yeah, so there's a story I took inside by Courtney Aviation Services Limited, Basel, the operator of Murtala Mohammed Airport in Terminal 2, that's MME2, has reiterated its zero-tolerance policy against violence within the terminal premises. So this came after an incident happened where an aviation security officer was physically assaulted by a male passenger last Sunday. He said the altercation occurred during a disturbance at the check-in counter of one of the airlines operating from MME2, and they said this happened as a result of system error. So the incident had also mirrored something that had happened earlier in December 2024, where they assaulted the people on duty. So the management has condemned the act and emphasized that violence against any staff member or service provider at MMA2 will no longer be condoned. The offending officer has been handed to the police for further investigation and necessary legal action. And the Basil has vowed to ensure a follow-up on the case to ensure justice is served. I think Nigerians need to control a bit more of their temper. If something is going wrong, you need to talk to somebody. Find the right officials to talk to. The people who are working in those sectors also need proper training on customer service and relations.
They are the lowest in the...
But
the real guys that make the decision are not the ones.
Yeah, but everybody needs to be trained in such a way that when something is going wrong, kindly come out and explain that this is what is going wrong. Please give us a little time. We're sorting it. They won't say anything. You leave Nigerians hanging around. So those ones also, because of their temper, we get upset and start harassing people. So we need to work together. While we are holding our temper, you say, come and explain. If this kind of thing happens, you see somebody constantly
talk about my delay. They delayed.
Oh, they delayed you. They didn't compensate you.
I was compensated.
That's what we're talking about.
My voice came down.
That came down.
I was compensated though, but we were delayed. You know, was
delay
a really
happen.
Major delay.
It's how you handle it.
Yes, and my bag was.
And information was properly communicated, right?
Yeah. But my bag has also been. They have put compensation for my bag.
Before.
So that's the thing. That's the difference between what happens here and there. Anyway, that's what we can take on front page review for today. We have juicy hot topics, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.